You're watching Breakfast Television on City TV. We're talking sports now and the mental health side of things. Young athletes are stressed, and those feelings could be starting at a much younger age than we are aware of. Kids, they're stressed about performing in sports, anxious about letting their coach down, worried about letting their parents down perhaps, and that's where Bob Wilkie comes in. Bob, Calgary guy, born and raised, played your minor hockey here, former NHLer, also survivor of the 1986 Swift Current Broncos bus crash, and Bob's dedicating his attention now and focus on improving the mental health of young female and male athletes. And before we get into the I Got Mine tour that you're about to launch here, starting here in the city of Calgary, let's kind of go back, because the 86 bus crash for you, when you played for Swift Current in your minor hockey days, you've been kind of saying that that's kind of the starting point where you kind of started to kind of focus on mental health and the needs behind getting people mentally healthy. You know,
yeah, the bus accident was one of those life-altering events that happened to everybody. And, you know, trying to perform, it was my draft year, so, you know, the pressure was on, was ranked to go in the first round of the NHL draft, and the pressures, you know, dealing with that accident and being away from home for the first time, it really did some damage, caused me to think completely differently about life and what I was doing. And, you know, the passion, it was tested at that time for sure.
Yeah, and is that one of the telltale signs kind of when I look at my kids, because I have two boys who are currently playing hockey. I also have coached over a couple of years in minor hockey. Are those, when the passion drops from kids who used to be super passionate, is that a warning sign? Is that one of the red flags?
Yeah, it's definitely a key indicator. You know, those are the things that you want to pay attention to. And you know, the hard part with sports is a lot of times you don't want to let somebody know that there's an issue.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You don't want to let them know that you're struggling with some of your teammates in the locker room, or that you're not getting along with the coach. You feel like maybe he's coming down a little hard on you, don't know how to process it, or, you know, mom and dad in the car ride home, you know what I mean, are kind of getting at you for not performing well. And all those things start to take their toll and add up, and, you know, people shut down and the emotions just kind of come out of control. And, you know, when the person starts to change, that's when you really know something's going on.
Okay, so that's a red flag to watch for, and that brings us naturally to what you're focusing on mostly here today, which is the I Got Mind tour that's starting in Calgary. I know a friend of Breakfast Television, Kelly Rudy. He's a colleague of yours as well. He's also going to be taking part in some of the dates across the country. So I Got Mind, this is you on stage talking to a group of hockey players and athletes as well. And is I Got Mind kind of just kind of continuing to build on this type of thing, or?
Yeah, you know, I Got Mind, it's about awareness. You know, when we say I Got Mind, you know, I'm thinking about the right things. It's all about educating people on the proper techniques. You know, depression, stress, anxiety, I mean, all those things are going to happen. Life is busy, life is hard. It's about learning some techniques. It's about not feeling bad about the illness. It's about finding ways to become healthy and gain your confidence back. And, you know, I still battle depression. Sometimes I have my dark days. Who doesn't? But I've got some things that I've learned that I can put in place that get me through the day.
That's great. That's great. And for when it comes to sports, because what happens in locker rooms for, you know, young women and men, of course, kind of is like you can extrapolate it out to life in general. You don't want them to go away from sports, these athletes, if they're feeling bad about it. You want them to really embrace it, right?
That's the cool part. You know, with Sean O'Grady coming on, he's the mental health clinician, and he's got all the science and research behind why sport is good for us. You know, we as people like to live in tribes, but a lot of times we're not taught, or we don't know how to function within those tribes well. And that's what the whole night is about. It's, you know, it's about my story and all the different places, you know, where trying to be elite took me. And then Sean comes on and he talks about the science. So when this happened, this is what happened to his brain. When this happened, this is what happened to his brain. And lots of resources for the people at the end of the night that they can go out there and find it. You know, the challenges that we have on a daily basis, they don't have to happen. There's answers out there, and we just have to find them.
Tools, right?
That's it.
We all need the tools. The first date of the I Got Mind tour is happening in the city of Calgary at Boyce Theatre, Stampede Park. It's attached to the Corral, of course, the old Stampede Corral. Thursday, October 18th, 7 p.m. And so we do Calgary, and then there's also Edmonton, Vancouver, anywhere else?
Saskatoon, Regina, Winnipeg, Toronto, and Montreal.
Moving all over the place, right?
It's time to talk about it. You know, athletes are coming out, and it's a good thing. We just want to make sure that we get people down to Calgary and really start this thing off with a bang.
Start the conversation.
Yeah, that's it.
Bob, thank you so much for coming in. Born and raised Calgary hockey player, right? Here, played for Canyon Meadows, right?
Canyon Meadows and the Buffs,
And the Buffs, and then kind of went on from there. There you go. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, you.
7:27. We still have a lot to come this morning on Breakfast Television. News headlines, traffic updates, and Andy has some positive news weather-wise. That's straight ahead.